All right. Just gonna wait until it's live on my YouTube. For some reason, it seems like on my phone it doesn't go live right away. I don't know if that's the same for everybody else. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies. About to kick off with our usual, thank you, slow boy. Our usual intro song, and I'll be right back. God bless everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and share. It really does help if you share the streams out. See you in a minute. Okay, what's going on, y'all? Let me get this video closed up. Welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies. How y'all doing? Glad to be here. Thank you for showing up for this nice, chill, 12:51 p.m. where I am, midday porch stream. Hope you guys have been having a great day. I wonder what's going on. I probably should have checked on YouTube what's going on at this moment in time. Make sure I'm not streaming over anybody else. I don't think I am. So yeah. We're going to do a show today, talk about a few different things. Just been enjoying my day off here in sunny, beautiful Buffalo, New York, enjoying the warm weather while it lasts. And the entire time I've been out here, I've got this fly swatter. I keep trying to kill these flies and these wasps and these yellow jackets. They're just swarming me, so just another porch stream thing you got to deal with. But we're having fun. I hope you guys liked the last show we did. If you guys missed it, be sure to go and check out the last stream we did. It was really fun. Went long, 4-hour show, and we had finally got to speak with Mono from Study of Stuff, who has been the most recommended person I talked to for like the last couple of months. So hopefully we made some people happy, finally making that happen. I know we're gonna do something else in the coming, in the near future. So Mr. Westford's live, but it's just a debate between weirdos. Let me pull it up. Let's see what's going on over there. Hang on, I'll pull it up right now. I'll stream snipe him. Me and Mr. Westford are going to be doing something next week. let's see. Mr. Westford. Let's share the screen. If you guys don't know, oh wow, he's already up to 700 subscribers, dude. Kids killing it, man. Shit. Slow boy whiteboard, you don't like watching slobs eat from a side angle? Sniping, yeah, for real, for real. Yo, what's up, Jason? What's up, Moldy? What's up, Jethro? What's up, Slow boy? And all the lurkers in the house. I saw Randy West up in the house. What's up to everybody? So yeah, if you don't know, Mr. Westford, new kid on the block. Haven't seen much of his content, but I have been talking with him a little bit behind the scenes, and he seems like a good guy. So he was asking me if I would hop on a stream at some point, maybe next week. So probably gonna do something like that soon. And let's see what he's doing.
Is it?
Holy mackerel! Look at that mustache, dude. Hang on, can I full screen this so y'all can see it? Oh my goodness! Look at that mustache. Damn. Chris Lestrange versus Anson Knowles. Is evolution true? Well, I guess I got to see Anson Knowles to see if who's possibly the evolution for and against positions. But if I had to guess, I'd say the Mustache Man is probably pro-evolution.
Is it a gathering? I'll even grant you, is it gathering or things just sticking together randomly? How you?
Oh, look at that! Made by Jim Bob's in the chat. Bro, grant me scaffolding category. Nice, good for you, Mr. Westford. You got Mr. Jim Boob himself up in the chat. That's pretty awesome.
Granting yourself the scaffolding, and then how that even facilitates how it would work.
Well, I guess
as in
damn, dude, he's got the mustache and he's got the accent. That's pretty incredible. Cat whisker mustache, and he's got the, I don't even know what accent that was, but it was pretty interesting, pretty cool. I wish I had a cool accent, didn't just sound like a Canadian. Like a Canadian just fell off a train or something. All right, so today I titled the stream Christian and Reality Pilled. Hope, faith, honesty, duty, the choices we make. Way too many words in that title, but I think it gets the picture across. I clipped out a 1 minute and 49 second clip from last stream, and I shared it out on X, I think. No, I shared it on Instagram and on YouTube Shorts. And I'm honestly shocked because I thought YouTube Shorts is supposed to be like super, a lot of views like TikTok. But last I checked, it said it's got like 58 views. So what the heck is the point of doing Shorts? 63 now, if they're not going to like get watched a bunch of times. I think I need to up my game a little bit and do like TikToks or, X videos or something. I'm going to do that. I would really like to get a new microphone, but unfortunately, because I have a good microphone, but I was checking it out the other day, and even that sound quality was pretty bad. Well, here comes a hornet. Stay away. Even that sound quality of the nice $100 microphone I bought was pretty bad. So I think I got to get one of those Yeti mics or whatever, bring it out here because I would really like to up the sound quality game a little bit. But the only thing I'm worried about is that frickin' airplane that flies overhead every 3 minutes. And I worry that if I get a good microphone, it will make the airplane, more of an issue. So perhaps I will look into a headset with a better mic or something. I don't know. If anybody has any recommendations, any other streamers up in the house, or anybody that uses headsets, microphones for their work, shoot me a message. Let me know. So I want to do that. And I'm also trying to get my ducks in a row to create some sort of distributable content about the specific issue right now in Buffalo, New York. And we're going to get into that today. We're going to pull up some news articles, show you some videos of what's going on in my backyard right next door, and give you guys an idea of the kinds of things that we're dealing with here that you are almost certainly dealing with in your neighborhoods, though you may not know it. And the hope is, within the next, how many days till the election? Like 70, less than 70, that we can raise awareness and really get people to understand the reality of the situation that we are dealing with. And they have put so much work and effort into hiding it and brushing it under the rug. And it really, really cannot I cannot state how important it is that it does not get brushed under the rug, that we do not ignore it until it's too late. That's what that clip was that I shared out last stream. I got a little too upset, got a little too angry, uh, and I wasn't trying. I wasn't getting worked up and trying to do that to sensationalize or to be overly dramatic or to be a black pillar or a doomer or somebody that's trying to like create a story where there is no story. I was doing that to react to the takes that I have seen, the very non-nuanced, ignorant takes that I've seen, which I'm not calling anybody who's saying that ignorant. A lot of the people who have, expressed views like that are my friends. And even I myself express views like that many times, including up until like 3 months ago. So, I'm trying to speak to whoever's watching the audience from a point of empathy and the fact that, I'm right there with you. But I really think that I have some value to share with you guys since I spend an unhealthy amount of time following this stuff. Um, you know, I think, there's a lot of people that need to hear what I got to say on this specific issue. And so that was sort of the point of getting all worked up about it, was to sort of shake some people awake and be like, no, you got to understand, like, this is a very real and very big problem that is, it's like sword of Damocles, right? It's like, it's just, we've got this axe hanging over our head, and I'm just begging people to look up. With that being said, the reason why I'm calling this reality pilled and not black pilled is because it's not a black pill. Obviously, if you're one of us, if you're a Christian, an authentic Orthodox Christian, ain't no black pills to be found, dude. We don't do black pills. But even if you're not, you have a voice, you have the ability to affect change around you, and I am really stressing that people use their voice right now, because now is such an important time to do so, and actually now is really, there is an energy in the air right now, ever since last night especially, where it feels like, we could be going in a good direction. The tide could be turning. Things could be sort of going for the better. Now, for the last, I don't know how many months, it's been an up and down thing where some days it's like it's looking good. Some days it feels less, less possible for us to have a good outcome. However, it's important that we don't lose hope and that we don't give up, because demoralization is one of their tools that the enemy uses to keep us from exercising our power. We all have power as individuals. We all have, an opinion. We all have our values and our families and the value that we produce, the wealth that we produce via our work and via whatever we create. And that is yours by right. You are making that. And we as Christians, of course, we try to offer that to God. But the value that you produce is yours. And as our country becomes more and more neo-communist, more and more, it's like a replay of every terrible communist and totalitarianist, regime coming to power. It's like we're watching that happen here. But history doesn't necessarily have to repeat itself. And I don't think it's really decided at this point, one way or another, whether it will. And I think what we do, from here on is going to make an impact. You don't have to be a celebrity or a famous person to make an impact. You don't have to be a politician to make an impact. I mean, you can affect the people around you. And I've tried to spread this message the whole time I've done this show, is that, just by speaking to your friends and to your family and to strangers, I mean, you're having an impact. Your mentality, your worldview, if you're a doom and gloomer and everybody you run into and talk to about, these kinds of things, you share that opinion, like, you're spreading that, whether you realize it or not. Like, single words, single sentences will stick in people's minds and will come up again when they talk. And just by speaking one sort of doomer black pill thing to somebody, you could end up spreading that to, 1,000 people by the end of the month. So I think it's important that we understand that, like, as free people, we have a duty to, if we're going to talk about certain things, to choose our words carefully and to really make sure that we know what we're talking about to the best of our ability before we go, publicly spreading things. I've seen a lot of people, like we were talking about last show with the controlled opposition thing. I've seen a lot of people bring that up, and I have seen nobody offer any arguments for it. And so I don't mind if you disagree with me. I don't mind if you have that view, but I am asking that if you have that view, please bring some evidence. You don't have to have evidence incontrovertible, prove it, but bring some evidence, bring it to the table, something that points you to the direction that your view is true, so that way we can discuss it and analyze it, break it down. Now, if you guys don't know, yesterday, Trump just announced, RFK Jr. just announced that RFK Jr. is dropping out of the race and endorsing Trump. And that was one of the most hype, one of the most energetic and high vibe Trump rallies I've seen in many, many weeks. Not since Trump was shot and did the rally afterwards have I seen such energy, and perhaps maybe even higher energy with yesterday's rally. They held a rally in Arizona, and RFK Jr. came out and spoke about why he, is dropping out and endorsing Trump. For those of you who've been watching the sort of saga unfold with RFK Jr., it's been sort of up and down. Will he, won't he? Is he going to go on the Kamala side? Is he going to go on the Trump side? Is he going to remain in the race? And a lot of people were saying that they think that, he's going to, if he remains in the race, he's going to draw more votes away from Trump than Kamala. And I was never a big RFK Jr. guy. I never followed him very closely. I remember seeing interviews with him, and obviously I remember times in the past where I appreciated his takes on jabby jabs. But then I started hearing, some of his more like liberal views, and was like, okay, don't really care about this. Sort of checked out. But that day, before I watched the rally, before he went on stage, I was watching Anomaly. I think he was doing a breakdown of the speech that RFK Jr. gave that day, the sort of press announcement of what he was doing and why. And Anomaly is another guy I follow a lot of different channels to sort of keep up to date on the news. I've got at least 10 or 15 different independent journalists, news analysts, commentators who, I always keep in my subscription, my news feed or whatever, and whenever they make a new video, I'll, either watch part of it or watch all of it, and I like to get as many different perspectives as I can from people who, are watching the news and analyzing the news on top of myself following along with, like, say, the campaign and, day-to-day news, stuff like that. I think that's a good way to be. I think more people should do that. If you're interested in this stuff, have a wide variety of different sources of people who disagree on different things. But I thought that stream that Anomaly did the other day was really good, where he broke down why people like RFK Jr. And as somebody who doesn't follow him, at all, it was very informative into the fact that, he's a guy who is, unlike, a lot of the candidates that we've been seeing lately, whether it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or Donald Trump, he's less focused on name calling and, pointing at people and blaming, and more focused on things that we can actually, change, things that we can actually have an impact on. Specifically, he was focused on the food system, and Anomaly was sort of saying, it would be pretty amazing if RFK Jr. would be the head of the FDA, which honestly, I mean, I don't disagree. Like, that would probably be pretty huge. I don't trust RFK. I don't know enough about him to say whether or not, I think he's legit. But based on the speech I watched him give, and based on the speech at the rally I watched him give, I'd say I have a good feeling about it. I have a good feeling about it. Seems to honestly care, seems to sincerely care, and seems to know what he's talking about. And his general gist is just that, the stuff we all know, which is that in America, our food is filled with toxic chemicals and poison and preservatives and all of these things which are not food. And the same products over in European countries have 20 less ingredients, and they have better food regulations over there. You can't put industrial, runoff into your food. And knowing very little about the European food system, I would assume that they probably have some bad stuff in their food still. I would assume that, there's some Trojan horse somewhere. Would not be shocked at all. However, even if we just made things a little bit better in that way, it would be nice. So we said high vibe energy. We're 19th dimension over here. That's what I'm saying. He seems sincere about that kind of stuff. Yeah, I forget what the red flags were of the things he was saying when he was running, but he had said a few things. Was it something about immigration or something about open borders or something about something? I forget what it was, but I remember him saying something that shocked me a couple of weeks or months back, and I was like, really? I thought he was like kind of, not to say base, because I mean he's a Democrat, but like I thought he was kind of like more aware of these things. And afterwards, I thought, well, maybe he's just saying that to like get himself, what's the word? Entrench himself onto the left, right? Maybe this is like a strategic, tactical move. Like say some lefty points, get the lefties to like you, and that way your campaign will draw votes away from the Democrats. That was my sort of immediate take of like, oh, that could be a possibility because I don't remember what it was, but I remember my reaction to what he said, and I was like, I don't know how he could have said that. He's a Kennedy, uses TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, annoying voice, and lots of bronzer. Enough said. Slow boy, ever with the astute observations. Very true, very true. The annoying voice, though, I mean, we can't, give him too much crap about that. Apparently, he had some disease or surgery or whatever. TRT, not too great, but also very popular amongst celebrities, amongst rich people, amongst famous people. At least it was. I don't think it is anymore, but for a while it was the talk of the town. And so, I've done a lot of stupid crap. I drink Coca-Cola. Like, I know it's poison, so yeah. But lots of bronzer, though. I draw the line at the bronzer, okay? There is no excuse for a bronzer. A man wears bronzer, I'm going to look at you funny. I can't help it. On Pharma, Bobby is legit. On everything else, he needs to kiss the Star of Rem fan, unless he wants to end up like his dad and uncle. Well, I would agree with you, Rex. I would agree. I mean, we all know that that's how the establishment works. That's how the system works. I think we're all in agreement on that. However, they are talking about that. They are openly speaking about that. The Trump campaign is openly speaking about the fact that ending up like his dad and uncle is what happens when you fight against the establishment. They literally said that on stage, to applause. Trump said, I'm going to release the rest of the JFK documents, which was honestly the biggest announcement of the night, in my opinion. I was just sort of in the room with it on. Somebody else was watching it, and I heard him say that, and I was, okay. Here's the thing, right? Oh, well, Jerry, he already said he was going to release the documents last time, and then he did, but he didn't. He still didn't release all of them, and that's BS. And I agree with you, that's BS. Now, what did Trump say about why he didn't release the documents at the time? He said to Judge Napolitano, if you had seen what I seen, you wouldn't have released them either. Okay. Again, this goes back to exactly what I was telling you guys on the last stream. You can be a boomer. You can be naive. You can have bad takes. You can disagree with what all of us here think would be the best choice to make. That doesn't automatically mean that you are a bad guy, that you are in league with the people who are actively waging war against you and I. Okay? And so we really need to be analytical and careful about jumping into conclusions immediately upon seeing anything that we don't like, because the stakes are too high. The stakes are too high right now, and again, I will try to get into that in a little bit, to be so brash, if that's even a word, rash, brazen, to be so, honestly, I just think it's foolish. I think it's foolish too, and I don't think that that's like how a critical thinking, analytical person with at least some wisdom would behave. Like, keep your eyes open. When you see these things, remember them. And they are points of reference to help you understand and comprehend what you're witnessing. If, a person is, family members with somebody who works in Big Pharma, and then all of a sudden they're, doing things with their power to enrich Big Pharma, it's like, okay, you could draw that line pretty easily between those 2 points and get a pretty good idea of, on that issue or in this way with that action, there seems to be, something obvious going here. As for uh, assuming that he kisses the star of Remphan, which means that he swears his allegiance to the devil. That again, I think one thing that's really messing up a lot of us too is that we all have. It's like we have a different language that we're speaking, right? It's like when I first started talking about this stuff, I came out and I was like, I think Trump is sincere. And by saying that, people automatically assumed I was saying something that I wasn't. And like, we have a different vocabulary, even amongst ourselves in our little circle. And I think we need to really get down to definitions and like, we need to start speaking the same language, right? When I said I think Trump is sincere, that doesn't mean I think Trump never lied or never says things which are politically expedient or never, he's campaigning. Of course he does. Of course he's not going to say exactly what he thinks. But what I mean is that Trump is easy to read. Trump is very easy to read for me. I know, people of that generation in my family that remind me a lot like him. I have seen many people, uh, with the sort of mentality and mindset that he seems to have. And he's also puts himself out there so dang much and puts so many countless hours of listening to him talk and be asked questions which are not pre-planned and pre-prepared, but just on-the-fly questions that you can, if you're paying attention and if you have an analytical mind and if you have even just a little bit of experience dealing with human beings and people, and if you're like a person who hasn't been like locked inside the house for 30 years but have been living life and interacting with lots of new people, I'm sure you guys have the ability to watch somebody speak. And if you watch 10 hours of somebody speaking, like you're going to learn a lot about that person. And so that's what I mean when I say he's sincere. I mean, he's sincere when he says, he doesn't like the fact that the border's open. He doesn't like the fact that, the American economy is falling apart when it doesn't need to. Like it's super simple stuff like using our own oil instead of paying our enemies for it. Like simple things like that, like he obviously means. He obviously intends to do. He tried building the wall and, got some of it done and all this stuff. So there's things that are, you can just see like, okay, he obviously intends to do that. As for the JFK documents, he announced pretty openly and without much pageantry that he was going to release the rest of the JFK documents. And I honestly do think that he intends to do that. I'm shocked that he said that. I'm shocked that that wouldn't be something he would keep to himself because from my perspective and in my opinion, been watching his campaign, he seems to be playing cards very close to his chest in terms of what he intends to do about the criminal element in our country, which has, for lack of a better way of explaining it, seized control of bureaucracies who have people in positions of power in intelligence agencies. He hasn't really said much about what he's going to do, and I think that's smart. I think that, when he won in 2016, not to go over the whole narrative again, but, when he won in 2016, they didn't rig it enough. He got through. They didn't think he had a chance. He got through. The establishment, whatever you want to call it, the deep state, the people who are basically neo-Bolsheviks, globalists, whatever you want to call them, they went into damage control mode and said, okay, he's got the White House, right? He's in the seat of power, which is basically a vehicle, a tool, and you've got, the executive, legislative, and Supreme Court. These are a tool or a vehicle of power, but they still have their people in all of these different things. They still have their people in all of these different agencies. God only knows how many. God only knows their names, who they are. There's people we can point to and say, this person is assuredly associated with this group. Somebody like Christopher Wray, somebody like Mike Pompeo, heads of CIA, heads of FBI, these are the kinds of people where you can look at and go, I don't know if you are an employee or if you are a shot caller or if you are blackmailed or what the deal is, but we know that you are, not working honestly and on behalf of the American people. The point is that I think they went into damage control mode in 2016 and thought, okay, we're going to slow walk his policies. We're going to try to distract him. We're going to, release something very, world-changing, coof. Distract him with that. Get people close to him as we can. Nudge him in certain directions, and just damage control. We only got to get through 4 years and spend the 2016 to 2020 preparing to ensure that that mistake in 2016 never happens again, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right. If they believe that he's going to, if he wins this time around, like really come after them, like, really try to destroy whatever tools they have left, right? Not throw them in jail, not any of this stupid crap. I highly doubt he will do that, even in a best case scenario. But I think that if he's able to at least damage their tools and their ability of, their levers to carry out their will in the society we live in at large, that might be enough. That might be enough to just begin momentum in a better direction, create some sort of legislation, some sort of executive order. I have no idea, man. I have no idea. All I know is, like I've said many times, I do hope, really, my only hope for the Trump administration is to deal with the immigration problem. That's really my number one. Number two would be like energy prices go down and grocery prices go down. And the rest of it is speculation, things I would like to see done, things I really don't hold out much hope for. But when I see things which give me hope for them, I'm going to say it. And so the JFK document thing definitely gave me hope. And it also shocked me that he would even be willing to say that, because for the rest of the other stuff, he's been keeping his mouth shut. And when he's asked about it, he really doesn't reveal much. And that's smart. That's what I would hope to see him do. I don't want him to see him come out and give his, 100-point plan, his 2-year plan for how he's going to, destroy all of the power of the corrupt political establishment and the globalists. You know what I mean? And I honestly, like I said, don't know if it's even possible for him to do so. On a kayak, so I'll be less annoying for a bit. Enjoy the reprieve. Oh, Moldy, I like having you in the chat, man. Remember Twump said he was going to put him as head of Stabby Stab Commission first time around? Exactly. Right. And that, again, is one of the biggest problems that people have with the Trump, and I get it. I get it. They're valid critiques. Another reason why I like Anomaly, because Anomaly is hypercritical of Trump, but he's not a doofus, and he doesn't. He's not brash. He doesn't. I don't even know if that's a word, but he's not rash. He doesn't rush to judgment. He doesn't. Oh, Trump did something I don't like, so he's the enemy. You know what I mean? He's got the ability to have like a mature view of things, and understand that people can disappoint you and not be who you want them to be, while still not, being Lex Luthor, for the love of God. I mean, the point is Anomaly was super heavily critical on Trump, and especially about the jabby jabs, and super heavily critical on him. Even now, he still is. He's like, I'm going to vote for him, but like, we need to hold him accountable. We need to hold his feet to the fire, and we need to report when he does crappy stuff. One of the worst things about the Trump administration in 2016 was the fact that they, in their naivety, in their ignorance, they didn't squash QAnon like a bug. And they really should have. And I'm not going to ever make excuses for that. That was a bad call. They thought it would help them. It didn't. It really screwed them up. It screwed their people up. And it really made it hard for people like me to want to publicly support Trump, or even privately support him. Okay. Again, this is all my speculation from watching it, but it seems pretty clear to me that, QAnon, obviously an intel, counterintelligence project, obviously trying to get the people who they're most afraid of, right? American citizens who love their country, who want to see things, grow, get better, people who are, in general, they have healthy families, they have strong bodies, typically, they have firearms, and they know how to use them, military service, law enforcement service. The people who these social engineers, globalists, are most afraid of, they want to kennel them, as much as possible, so that they can direct them into a certain avenue, right? Mislead them, misdirect them, plant misinformation and misleading narratives. That's controlled opposition. That's what it actually looks like. And I think that Don Jr. and Donald Trump and whomever else, probably Steve Bannon, when they saw, into the crowds at the Trump rallies, all these boomers holding Q signs, wearing Q shirts, and they realized what was happening, I honestly think that, and I do think Don Jr. had a part in this, they said, this is good for us. Hey, I mean, they want to think you're a superhero. I mean, shit, let them think you're a superhero. You are trying your best to do, what you think is best for the country, so it's kind of true, I guess. Like, let's lean into it a little bit. And, I don't know if y'all seen at the time, but there was one time where Don Jr. came out on stage with a Q pin, a very small Q pin, that the Q people went crazy for. And that's what I mean when I say lean into it. I mean, they never came out and said, this is not us. This is not true. Here's what we're actually doing. Here's what the fight actually looks like. Whoever is creating this, is obviously malicious, is obviously at best just a liar and a larper, and at worst is the enemy, trying to screw at you. I think that they thought that it would help them win the election, maintain support. And maybe they even, Trump has been known by, people who know him to sort of go in for this sort of not hippie manifestation idea, but the sort of idea of like, he's a guy who he talks about the positive stuff in things. He's all about success, beautiful, big buildings, Mar-a-Lago, right? Like successful business, good, good, good. He doesn't focus on the bad. When he makes a mistake, he doesn't sit there and own up to it, which is a terrible quality of his. He just looks for the good things that he did, and he puts those in the forefront. And again, which is another quality of his that makes people very, unwilling or hesitant to want to support him again. But frankly, I think that it was a really boneheaded move. If he wasn't such a boomer, if he was maybe a younger man, but then again, Don Jr. was younger, so that's why I blame him. He should have known better. You should know the enemy well enough to know that when you've seen the Q stuff going on, and you're Donald Trump, and you're the Trump administration, you know that's false, right? You should know this is globalist playbook to a T. This is exactly the kind of thing that they would do. This is counterintelligence. This is controlled opposition. Should have known that. Should have known that because it was being used, that there was a plan to use it to hurt him. But he didn't. And I'll never make excuses for that. That was ridiculous. Hope he learned his lesson. Real G's wear platinumizer. Hell yeah. What's a bonzer? Bronzer is like that spray that makes you, it's like a spray tan, The DNC establishment, yes. But the red team guys never talk about the Red Shield Mafia. Palantir will make sure the algo counts your vote for the orange man, but not too much. It has to be close because we want to believe. No, he doesn't swear allegiance. He just has to compromise to survive. Yeah, I mean, there is this thing that I imagine if you're at that level, you'd have to figure out is like if you're an ideologue, if you're an idealist, if you're somebody who, really believes in your political ideas or your moral ideas or whatever, and you want to create some sort of a positive impact on your, country or whatever, is it worth it playing the game? Is it worth it making small compromises to do something good, rather than sticking to your guns and, preserving every ounce of your idealism and doing nothing and getting nothing done, in terms of policy, in terms of actual systemic change? I think that's an important debate, and I think that's a debate that a lot of people in that situation have. And I don't know the answer. Certainly if it was anything to do with my faith, if it was anything to do with, people dying, obviously I wouldn't be for it. At the same time, that's not a nice position to be in, to be the president or to be a person in office where that no matter what you do, like somebody's going to get hurt, for instance, in a war, like there's no good way to go about that. Like if there's an enemy at the gates, like it's very difficult to have a situation that ends in no suffering for anybody or nobody gets mad at you for the choices you make. So it's very complicated. That's why these things require such nuance and calm discussion. And really the only way that any of us are going to be able to make heads or tails of this is by having access to information. It's like somewhere the founders, I see this quote spread a lot. I don't know where it comes from, but basically that, our system only works with a moral and informed people. You need in order for this system to work at least even slightly as intended, you need people to know what the heck is going on. You can't have the media and all of the information in the public discourse be manipulated, be, slanted, be yellow journalism, be, biased or whatever. You have to have a ability for people to access what's going on. We have that right now, which is I think why we're seeing things get a little bit better, at least somewhat. It seems to me I see a sort of tide, shifting. I see a lot of people supporting common sense things which go completely against the establishment's agenda, what they've been working towards for so long. People saying, no, we want borders, we want national sovereignty, we want American energy and American independence, we want a law and order, we want, to get rid of degenerate culture and all of this nonsense, the radical leftism, all that stuff. I mean, we're seeing a lot of people support that. That's good. I think that that's largely due to the easy access to information that we have now, the variety of voices that people have. It's just good. As for moral, I think we're making progress on that as well due to the Orthodox Christian presence in America. I mean, when a candle comes into a dark room, it's even if it's just one candle, right? I mean, it has such a profound effect. It doesn't light up the whole room, but the whole room is affected by it. And that's the way I see the Orthodox Church in America right now. I mean, we have the light of Christ, which, was seated on this continent a long time ago, really growing in strength. And that's just naturally going to have an impact. Doesn't mean it's going to, make everything perfect or better. It just means that it will be felt and it will create a ripple. And hopefully it will, make things better in at least some small ways. I also do want to cover the Orthodox sort of news about Ukraine and all that stuff at some point during the show. But yeah. Is he still considering Fink for Treasury head or what? And that's another thing that Anomaly was saying is like, you're going to have a good idea of what his administration and his 4 years are going to look like if when he gets in by the people he hires, right? So, like I said, man, I have a very low bar set. I really hope he doesn't. I really hope he makes smart choices. I really hope he has learned lessons. However, if he doesn't, like, I don't have my hope and trust and faith in him. I'm not going to be heartbroken over it. I'm going to be disappointed, but as long as our border gets shut and as long as we drill for American oil, like, good enough for me. That's at least a step in the right direction. Hopefully, if we fix our election systems, even just a little bit, even just have some sort of regulation on, dealing with a lot of the ways that they influence the election. Somehow, constitutionally, deal with the fact that Google, it's well known, can influence millions of votes. Like, we need to do something about that. If we want the system to work at all, you have to have some sort of monopoly control, some sort of law that says they can't, fudge and alter and doctor search engine results to sway an election. That's completely ridiculous to allow that to happen. If he can even do some of those things, we can move on from this in 4 years and actually have a better person and can finally stop talking about the orange man. I would like nothing more than that. I would like nothing more than to, drop the baggage that we have and, hopefully 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, maybe even see some on the local level, Orthodox Christian representatives, at least at the very least, some more moral and wholesome people, in the government. Again, pipe dream, maybe. The only one considering Fink is thinking maybe Klaus. I went to the Trump rally yesterday. Oh, nice, JA. That's cool. Yeah, that was a massive one, dude. That was a big one, and very, very good energy. And it made me feel good. It made me feel good seeing the speech he gave, the things he was saying, and the energy and the enthusiasm because of the RFK endorsement. I was like, okay, this is one of those days where I feel like, there's some hope here. There's some hope of his victory, which obviously I want. Where the hell did I put my drink, dude? Damn it. So that was good. Like I said, the JFK stuff, he said that if, Judge Napolitano had seen what he had seen, he wouldn't release them either. Very boomer take, very people aren't ready for this. The American people just couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle what, Grandpa? That our government's run by criminals who murder people that get in their way? We already know, dude. You know what I mean? It's like that's like the kind of thing your boomer grandpa would do. Son, you're not ready for this. Grandpa, we've known that for 20 years. All right? Catch up. Catch up. You're the one that's lagging behind. We don't need the documents to prove it. We already know generally who did it, but it would be nice to have some confirmation. It would be nice to be able to prove it in a court of law. You know what I mean? It would be nice to be able to point to the normies and say, see the fact? This is how they work. This is how they operate, you know? They are criminals. And if he does that, that is a undeniable step in the right direction. You know, too little, too late, for sure, but good nonetheless. Bow to bang, Jerry. Nice. Seed oil's getting banned, dude. That would be nice. That would be very nice. Circumcised cowboy, American bad. Make America healthy again. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's a big deal, dude. If they can take chemicals out of our food, that would be very nice, right? That would be very nice. The question is, do y'all want the Joker and the Demon Crap Puppet Masters stay in power? No, there is only one other choice at this point. Must keep the demons out and shut them down right now. I agree. And again, this show isn't about what I'm talking about necessarily right now. I'm going to be going into what's happening here in Buffalo to give you guys an idea of how this happens so that you guys, in your own way, can look in your own towns, figure out what's happening. And if nothing else, if you don't have a platform to share it out with, if you don't have a way to efficiently and effectively spread the message that that is happening, then send it to me. Okay, I'll compile this stuff. I'll put it out there. But we as people really need to take stock of what's happening in our communities and make sure that people are hearing about it. Make sure that people are aware because there are so many, you know, Democrat grandmas and normies out there who, you know, just buy what the news says and they just don't know about this stuff. They really don't know. Maybe they think, you know, oh, I'm being empathetic and, you know, the right is being racist for not wanting illegal immigration. But if they realized that there was like 150 of them right in their backyard and that there were like 5 rapes and like, you know, a bunch of stolen property and vandalism, like, you know, which rich white liberals or, you know, white liberal Democrats, like, they're kind of racist if you didn't know, and they're, you know, they're kind of stuck up and kind of like a Karen a little bit, and I think that might just have an effect on the way they think. So, will it make them vote for Trump? Probably not. But will it make them not vote for Kamala? Possibly. Possibly. What happens if I write in Mela for president? I don't know. I can't stay long, but want to pop in. What's up, KF? Good to see you. Palantir still wins. Possible. I mean, not really. Christ wins, right? Palantir, is that the Peter Thiel stuff? I mean, I know of it, but it's been a long time since I've been down that rabbit hole. Like Palantir, obviously, I know is a reference to Lord of the Rings, the orb, pondering my orb. And so I believe it's a, what do they call that? Surveillance state type thing, right? Some sort of horrific dystopian technology. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish that I could sit down with Trump and actually pick his brain and like actually talk to him behind closed doors because there's just certain things that because he's running for president, like whether it's true or not, he feels he can't say. Whether it's true or not that it would hurt him, his advisors must feel there's just a lot of things that he probably should not say. I would love to hear how he actually feels on these things. I imagine he knows a lot more about these things than us. Not necessarily about the specific like, you know, information, but about the people involved, right? Has firsthand experience with them. So, you know, and January 6th wasn't controlled opposition. It was hijacked, obviously, right? It was. I mean, we have video of the dude. I don't even remember his name, but, you know, the dude, storm the Capitol, storm the Capitol. Meanwhile, you had sincere people like Alex Jones going, don't. That's stupid. Please don't. You had Trump saying, that's stupid. Please don't. And, you know, these obviously agent provocateurs were able to manipulate an entire crowd and encourage, you know, them to do something against their own best interest. That's a very good point, Edmund. That absolutely was controlled opposition. Now, had Trump been controlled opposition for that event, right, he requested the National Guard be there. He requested extra security be there. The establishment refused it. Nancy Pelosi refused it. So, obviously, I think if he was controlled opposition, he probably wouldn't have done that. And as I said the last stream, he probably would have tried to foment a revolution or a violent, insurrection, an actual insurrection, so that they could bring the hammer down and take those people, the people who were, massive amounts of people, who were the most likely to actually pose a threat to the system if they ever had a leader who was, widespread enough and had widespread influence enough to be able to direct them in an efficient, effective way. I don't think that there's anybody else in this country, and I can't see there being anybody else anywhere in the near future who would be able to harness that amount of influence over the enemy of the establishment, meaning the average American gun owner, person. So if Trump was a controlled opposition, I think that they would have used him at that moment to do what we know they've been wanting to do to those people for a while. Just the way I see it, could be wrong, could be missing something, I don't know, but that's the way I see it. This is the calm before the Soma, could be. Absolutely. That's where they want us to go. They want us to be into a Huxleyan nightmare. They have done so much work for it. They have put so much effort into it. And the only thing that really gives me comfort, in spite of all of that, all the money, all the effort, all the murder and theft and deception and evil that they've done, is to know that men's plans really don't mean shit, like in the grand scheme of things. Men can sit there and plan and plan and plan and fight hard, but providence happens. And fate, whatever you want to call it, happens. Life happens. And so, again, like I said last show, I hope to encourage you guys to understand, to not have this false view, which has been planted in our minds by the enemy, that they are unstoppable. They're not. And even if they are, acting like it does not help us at all. But they're not. Took the paid trip to the Holy Land. Compromise is a prerequisite for politics. But am an ideologue without the full Orthodox armor of God is useful. But an ideologue without the full armor of God is useful prey. If they hump the Roman fortress but don't prostrate at the Holy Sepulchre, they're merely tinkering around the edges. Well, I think you should speak in less, what's that, like a parable type word here. Compromise is a prerequisite for politics. I would agree. But an ideologue without the full Orthodox armor of God is useful prey. I would agree. But then this one, I'm not really sure what you mean by Roman fortress, Holy Sepulchre. I understand. Holy Sepulchre is the tomb of Christ, and the Roman... Sorry, I'm not sure. John Connor, amen. Good to see you, homie. The Ukrainian thing is just sad and angry. Yeah, agreed. Gonna hire the man who would put the hit on him. Let's hope not. Buck into the back into the left. Yeah, Bill Hicks. Yep, Teal and Vance. Okay, again, we talked about this last time. In what way do you think that Vance is like teamed up with Peter Thiel? Is there any evidence that Vance is like working on something that is bad for the American people? Okay, that's what I would like to see, because Vance was in the tech sector, Peter Thiel's in the tech sector. It's a small world, and when you're at a certain level, like it would just stand to reason that lots of times people are going to, their circles are going to intersect. That does not mean that they're Lex Luthor, like I was trying to say. And so that's not to say you're wrong or whatever you're implying is wrong. I'm just saying that I really would like to see people like give arguments for this stuff. Bring receipts, bring information that we can analyze, so that way we can have a bigger picture view of it, right? Like, I'm fully aware that I could be missing points, and because of the points I'm missing, be totally wrong. But I spend a lot of time focusing on this stuff, and, I analyze my opinions. I'm constantly looking for holes in them. Found plenty of holes, back in the first go-around with this stuff. Like, how I feel now is completely different from how I looked at Trump back then. Completely different. I have the blinders off. I have the hero goggles off. I have the realistic wisdom and experience of the last couple of years. You know, not saying I'm wise, but the wisdom I've gained from my experience over the years, and certainly the wisdom I've received from the Holy Church to temper my enthusiasm and my expectations and my hope, and make me look at it realistically. Like, you know, this is what I want to see happen. This is what could happen. These are the forces against him. We need to, you know, look at everybody, you know, with clear and sober eyes, and try to, you know, try to inform ourselves as best as we can so that we can make the right choices, because it is our duty as human beings, as fathers, brothers, sons, daughters, you know, citizens, to protect our families, to, you know, be faithful to God, and wherever it is in our power to protect the innocent. And that is exactly why we need to vote in this election. Whether you think he's real or not, you need to protect the innocent. Like, you don't understand, there are bad forces akin to the Bolsheviks, akin to what Russia went through in our country right now. They're going to be used in that same way, and they are already harming our people. And these are our towns and our cities, and we need to be adults about that and make the pragmatic choice that we need to really do whatever we can to stop that. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. That's not unorthodox to say. That's not anti-Christian to say. That's not against, you know, even though I'm sure there's Orthodox Christians out there on YouTube telling you a very different message, and how it's pointless and it's a distraction and don't get sucked into it. But they're not going to be talking to you on YouTube when our country collapses. And I'm not trying to be sensationalist and a doomsayer, right? I'm not trying to say it's for sure everything's going to fall apart. But our systems are straining and are dilapidated and collapsing. We can't sustain this many people. Just telling you, as a low-class, blue-collar person, like, we don't know what we're going to do. Like, it's unaffordable. Housing's unaffordable. A trailer, okay? We're in a trailer park. A trailer is $100,000. A freaking trailer in a trailer park. Perfect segue into the main point of today's video. Let's share the screen. I'm not sure what I'm going to share first, but I'll pull up this article here that somebody sent me. Cheektowaga, which is a part of Buffalo, may pursue eviction of New York City migrants from hotels in town. Lawyers tell the judge that the National Guard has rebuffed town officials seeking to inspect conditions within hotels they say are operating outside of legal use. Now, before we get to this article, I want to pull up, one second, Buffalo hotels, migrants. Worst case, if I can't find the news articles, again, I'll just pull it up on the phone because I screenshotted them. But there's a few articles that I found yesterday, which were incredibly worrying and frustrating and infuriating. And so we're going to try to show you guys what's happening, and, like I said, hopefully inform you guys for your own towns what to look for. All right, right here. And then, okay, I got 3 articles pulled up now. And then I'm just looking for the one on the apartments. Looking into what's migrants that could be moved. Okay, let me search apartments. Yeah, you guys are gonna be pissed when you see this. Sorry for the dead air, but this is important. Come on, we want them out. Is that shit? Okay, I'll just have to pull up the. I'll just have to pull up that that screenshot I got. So let me decide which article I want to read first, and then I'll just explain to you what's going on. So here's the first one, okay? So this article here, migrants moved from Dingen Street Hotel to Amherst. Cheektowaga restraining order prevents more asylum seekers from coming. So the general gist here, without, you know, I'll try to read parts of it, but New York City was completely overcrowded. They had too many people, too many illegal immigrants in New York City. I'm sure you're all aware of that. And so our lovely, disgusting public servants decided, instead of, oh, I don't know, sending them to Mexico, or, you know, calling for the National Guard to arrest them and, you know, charge them for breaking the law and then deporting them, as is what we normally do to immigrants or people who break the law, they decided they would ship them around to the rest of the state, and they would, fuck you, fuck. Sorry for my swearing, guys, but these bees gotta learn. All right, these yellow jackets gotta learn. They decided to ship them around the rest of the state and spread them out. You know, spread them out. It's not that big of a deal. There's not hundreds of thousands of them, millions of them. There's only a couple hundreds of thousands in your town, so that's all you're gonna see. It's not that big of a deal. So, anyways, let's pull this up so you guys can read it. So they started off when they got here in a Best Western in Dingeon Street, and then a bunch of bad stuff happened, and the locals wanted them gone, and so they moved them over by me. One second, guys. Please forgive the dead air. I gotta get a drink. My throat is scratching, dog. 1 second. All right, and let's go. I'm just gonna skip over the chat so I can, you know, dead air is all right by me. Thank you. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not, but thank you. I appreciate you not being mad at me. Where I live, you need to scope out defunct crack houses in okay areas to get a buildable lot at an okay price. Dude, it's a problem, it's a real problem. Anyways, the town of Cheektowaga received a temporary restraining order to prevent more asylum seekers from taking shelter in the town. Supervisor Diane Binkowski confirmed Friday. This comes as a group of asylum seekers are being relocated from a Cheektowaga hotel to Amherst. Now, the reason why I am covering this stuff now is because I think I already said this, I'm trying to get my ducks in a row. I'm trying to sort of flesh out my messaging. I'm trying to flesh out sort of how I'm going to go about this. And I think I told you guys like what I want to do, which is to organize either some sort of demonstration in front of this hotel or some sort of, demonstration-like thing where it's not necessarily a protest on public property on the sidewalks in front, but where we get people together who are pissed about this, holding signs, calling for mass deportations, calling for accurate reporting and numbers and the money that they're spending, our money, how much it's costing, and basically filming that, spreading it out, trying to get it as widespread as possible, trying to attract the attention of streamers, YouTubers, independent journalists, so that people can understand. I think that this is a really important thing that the Trump campaign, at least, not only should they be aware that the average person is okay with mass deportations, if there's no better way to do it, then it needs to get done, and we want it. And it doesn't matter if the media is going to spin it, and if the media is going to try to foment as much anger and reaction to whatever images they put on screen of little babies crying and getting their teddy bear pulled away or whatever, that this needs to be done, and that the majority of honest Americans really do want to see their country survive, and really do want to see the homeless Americans and the starving Americans and the poor Americans and the Americans suffering with diseases that they can't afford to treat, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We want to see them taken care of before they steal our money to take care of strangers who they're bringing in to replace us. So that's the goal of what I'm trying to do. And so I'm doing this right now really to try to just sort of share the information, and also put the message out there that this is what I'm doing, hopefully to encourage you guys to do the same thing, because this is something that you can do that can actually have an impact, that can actually affect the people around you, at the very least affect their awareness of what's going on. Because if we don't make this a well-known thing, and God forbid we lose the election, there's really not going to be many avenues that we can take to deal with it at all. It's kind of just like no idea, if there's anything we can do at that point. There might not be anything we can do at this point, but I believe there is. And I believe that the issue has already gained enough awareness on the national scale but they're calling it a border crisis, right? That's sort of the messaging from the Trump campaign. Even the Kamala campaign calling it a border crisis, even though she's in the White House now. Border crisis, border crisis, border crisis. That gives you the wrong idea. That makes you think that it's a crisis down in the border. And all of us up here who aren't on the border, it's this crisis and we need to fix the border, fix the border, fix the border. They need to shift their messaging, and I'm hoping that I can sort of just start that ball rolling, and hopefully it'll make its way to the Trump campaign via word of mouth spreading. It's not a border crisis, it's a community crisis. It's right here in our community. They are raping, murdering, stealing, looting, burning, and much worse coming in our communities now. And also to highlight the deception that our local governments are engaged in, where they are hiding them, actively using deceptive tactics to keep the real weight and scale of the issue on a local level under wraps and out of the eyes of the public. We have logos. So we all vote for Harris, right? Exactly. Yes. At my job, I go to towns that strictly exist because of government redistribution, and it's super annoying to see it. Whole towns of stolen lives. But guys, crack houses are so diverse, and it's our strength. Dude, you want to fix up a crack house? You're trying to gentrify my neighborhood, bro? Where am I supposed to buy crack after? You just don't think about the average people. Friggin' racist. It's funny, Camden is more expensive than where I live because the new construction next to the extreme ghetto. Why would you demonstrate at the hotel? It's the government doing it. Go protest the government. I'm not trying to protest, right? I'm considering it. I'm considering a protest, but I'm not necessarily trying to protest. And again, I'm thinking out loud. I'm trying to formulate a plan, and so that's why I'm doing it on stream, so you guys can sort of give me your takes and reactions and stuff. Dr. Crispy, excuse me. Excuse me. Go protest the government. Because it's not the government who I'm trying to reach. The government right now, the people who run it, know how I feel. It's not like they don't know. You know what I mean? They know exactly how I feel. The local government in Buffalo know exactly how I feel. And they know exactly what they're doing, and they don't care. It's a malicious thing that they're doing. I'm trying to reach the people, right? I'm trying to reach the passersby. I'm trying to reach the locals who aren't already aware that right next door, is a serious problem. That as soon as this election's over and as soon as they have no more need to hide them, they will be in our streets. They will no longer be hidden. And you'll be like, whoa, our demographic just shifted overnight. Like, there's not just black and white Americans here now with 5%, Puerto Rico, whatever the demographics of your community are. Overnight, it's going to shift. Your voting power in your local elections are going to become so diluted as to make it really pointless, like truly pointless. I know we all just assume it's pointless now, but it's really not. Like, if there's actually an informed public, you do have the potential for a say. The system does actually work. It's not perfect, and it certainly is corruptible, and it certainly has its blind spots that need to be addressed. But as we said last show, then address them. Like, we don't believe in evolution, but there is certainly a growth to mankind. There is a progression of mankind. Systems can get better over time as we learn more, as we get better technology, more information, more tools so that we can do better work, more work faster. We can fix the old system. We don't just have to take the election system from 1776 or what was given to us by that and just keep it as is forever. We can see now with hindsight, wow, these people controlled the narrative and controlled the spread of information and used money to buy elections, and that the sort of campaign finance stuff is pretty messed up. Like, you can see the problems that cause the corruption and cause the issues, the special interests, all of these things. There's things that could be done, is all I'm saying. But my point is, I'm not trying to reach the government, and it's sort of like a facade in my idea of doing this. Like, we're demanding that the government tell us how much of our money they're spending on it, how much of per day, per person, how many there are, and actually give us the numbers. Now, in one of these articles, they do say that the hotels agreed to give monthly updates. Of course, the article has no links to that. I tried searching it up, I couldn't find it. So they're supposed to be providing us with monthly updates about how many migrants are there, how many have been deported, crimes, left, etc., and I believe even something about the money, but I can't find it. So obviously we can see what's going on there. And the most infuriating um, development in the story is that there are this senator in our area wants to. He's basically saying that the hotels are temporary, and that they will be moving them into apartments. Which again, if you're a lower class person, if you're a blue collar person, everybody I know is struggling to afford rent. Everybody I know is struggling to afford their electric bills. Our electric bill, when I had my own house, years and years ago when I was with my ex, we paid like $80 to $100 for electric, and that was it. And we had a whole house, 3 stories, garage, backyard. It was $100. Split between two people, $50 a month, nothing. Okay, the trailer that we live in is like $400 for electric. They put in a smart meter, all of a sudden it's $400. And this is like a massive and widespread reported issue where people cannot afford their electric bill. It is just skyrocketed out of the stratosphere, and things are going very bad. So the point is that I'm really trying to, with this demonstration, sort of rile up people's feathers, let people know, like, this is a problem. This better influence how you vote, dude. Like, realizing that there's all of these people here, and that not only are there all these people here, but that your government doesn't give a crap that you can't find an affordable place to buy a home, that the apartments are overpriced, like insanely overpriced, that energy is insanely overpriced, and that our taxes here in New York are like the worst in the whole country. I mean, New York is just like renowned for how much it's like there's a tax on your tax. I lived in Florida, I lived in New York. It's insane. The valley of a difference between the two. And not only are all of those things true, but now the government's going to take your tax money, and instead of helping you find a home, and instead of helping you pay for the bills that they've skyrocketed because of these smart meters that are obviously doing some sort of scam BS, but they're going to buy the migrants' apartments with your money. So now the apartments that are around are going to go even more up in price because there's less supply and more demand. I mean, dude, people need to know this. And I guarantee if it's happening here, it's happening at your house too. I guarantee it. So, unless you're living off in the woods, in which case, just wait. I mean, you might think you're insulated. You're not. People need to know this stuff, dude, because there's a lot of normies out there who are probably going to vote for Kamala Harris because they think that it's 2016 all over again and it's Mr. Mean Racist Man, and they have no idea that the narrative, that the actual, context of our lives have changed because they're in a bubble, they're in a controlled narrative, they have only establishment verified information entering into their echo chamber, and they have no idea how bad it's about to get for them. And so, yeah, maybe we don't do anything. Maybe it's pointless. Maybe it doesn't affect anything. I think it would. Will it affect anything enough to change things? I don't know, but it might encourage other people in their areas to do so. And if enough people cover these stories going on in their neighborhoods, like, that could actually cause the campaign to have a better messaging about the so-called border crisis, and hopefully it will encourage them, if they do win, to deal with it, because there is a very real chance that, like, say Trump wins and then realizes, okay, yeah, there is no easy way to deal with this many people here, to have a sort of limp-wristed, very soft-handed approach with it. Like, we can't allow that to happen if we have any say in it at all. All right. All right, back from yakking. What I missed? Sum it up. Dude, come on now. You missed RFK calling in. Yeah, exactly. Yo, what's up, young old boy? Good to see you, my homie. RFK, roid shoulders, got nothing on Jim Bob's boulders. Okay, what's the plan B if a bad scenario happens in November? I mean, honestly, I think plan B is is Trump winning. But that's just the cynic in me. Um, plan B is to prepare to endure the cross and try your best to do the right thing when and where it's in your power to do so. It's what we're doing already, but we're still in this bubble of comfort that is going to burst at some point. We all know it. We all know that things are gonna burst, and for us here, it already has. I can't go to the gas station without being face to face with the reality of the fact that there is a hostile force in my town, which is getting ready to take it over, if we're being real, getting ready to compete with me for our jobs, getting ready to compete with me for our apartments, and getting every advantage handed to them because the government robs me of my money that I earn and gives it to them. So, good luck competing with that. And so the plan B is to endure, go to church, gather together with your parish community and pray and endure until the end, man. We know persecutions will come. We know hard times are going to come. It's just a matter of what are they going to look like? When are they going to come, right? It would be nice if we could have like the persecutions and hard times of, the 40s to the, well, I don't want to say any specific time, but, a normal sort of generation where, our entire society doesn't collapse, but that might be what is in store for us, for this generation. And if so, if that is the unavoidable future that we have, then I'm not going to push against the grain. I'm not going to swim against the current. I'm not going to, I hope I won't anyways, be mad at God for it. I'm going to do my best to just endure with faith and not freak out about it. You know, I mean, what else could the plan be? I'm not for a militia or for trying to actually do some sort of a violent uprising or a revolution. I think anybody that talks like that is just self-indulging their little fantasies, their LARPing fantasies, and I don't think they even believe it. And the people that do actually believe it, not the brightest. Don't see that happening. If ever there were violent conflicts to break out between the people who support Trump and you know I don't know, the Democrats, the police, like who are they going to fight? I think you just see pockets of it here and there, and they would be quickly stamped out. Um, oh, thank you. We got a super chat from Tim. Thank you so much, dude. I didn't even think to mention that. Thank you guys, everybody who are here watching, supporting, commenting. I think I mentioned it last show, but really, like, because we're in an election year, because there's so much suppression, because there really is a major focus on narrative control, I think YouTube just algorithmically. It's freaking planes. I think it would be safe to assume that YouTube is not going to be helping independent channels, channels that are not, promoting the messages that they want. They're not going to be doing anything to help. I'm not saying that we're shadow banned. I'm not saying that they're specifically censoring me, but I'm just saying that, the algorithm doesn't share out my videos, it doesn't recommend my videos, and half the time, I have a lot of subscribers tell me they don't even get the notifications for them. So, you liking the video, watching it, commenting in the live chat, commenting after the video is done, and of course supporting me via super chats, all that stuff really helps out a lot, and I really appreciate you guys for doing that. And also, just am going to further reiterate, please share the streams or do your own work in the same vein. Just, would really appreciate it. Amazing how my ailing back got way better after some paddling. That's a paddling. Most boomers just lay around and get fatter, dumber, and more sore. Dude, I feel that. I feel that. How they even get to the north of America? Well, they got plane tickets, many cases. They got Greyhound buses filled with them that they shipped up here. The governor of, was it Greg Abbott of Texas or was it Florida? I think it was Greg Abbott of Texas. Sent a bunch of them to New York City and to Chicago, which screw you, dude. Like, great job. I get why what he was thinking, I guess, and why he did it. But like, what an awful situation we have. That these are the politicians and the leaders. Like, oh no, our border is so porous. Let's disperse them throughout our country. What? Like, who? My goodness. Shouldn't power be super cheap in Buffalo? Yeah, you'd think, right? You'd think. We have the Niagara Falls right there. You know, Nikola Tesla history, all of it. You would think. $400? Yes, literally. Like, no joke. A trailer. He lives in a castle and has slaves. The porch is a psyop. Dude, come on, man. I thought that this green screen was pretty convincing. Meanwhile, my girlfriend pays about $15 a month for utilities. It's all such BS. Get smart, get a smart meter. Dude, I mean, really, like, people need to understand, like, this is the world we live in, and if we don't, as a people, stand up and push back, it's it's not going to get better, you know. And as Orthodox Christians, like, we know that, you know, like Father Turbo said, you know, if you unite, when people unite under a banner that isn't Christ, like, problems ensue. And I agree with that. And as Christians, you know, we have a greater responsibility, and we will be held to a higher standard by our God, you know, to not lose sight of the important things and the priorities, right? The priorities being to repent, to go to church, to actually, you know, do the work of a Christian, to actually go within and to be obedient to Christ and to follow in the footsteps of Christ. That's why I would never say, join the revolution, guys. We need to join the militia. We need to take our country back to Western civilization, take it back. I would never say that. But what I am saying is that there is a way where you can do both. Like Father Turbo taught us, the royal path, there is a way that you can do both. You can be an Orthodox Christian and care about your country. You can be an Orthodox Christian and vote. Even though we all know in our circle here how uncool voting is, you can still do it because it's your way of influencing your communities in a better way. You know, what's even better that? What's a better way to influence your communities? Being in a church, doing processions around the block with your parish, right? Doing the liturgies every Sunday. That's another way that you can really positively impact your communities. You know, doing evangelism in your own ways and things of that nature. Doing charities, group charities, things like that. Like, it's not either or, it's both and. But we cannot ignore the system, you know, and then complain about it when it goes wrong and when everything falls apart, you know. So, just my point. Got any stories about CT? I'm sure you put Connecticut. Not really, just a lot of Puerto Ricans. Meanwhile, oh yeah, read that one. Sorry, I had to miss more than an hour of this. We'll catch the replay later. I hope you are in my prayers. Thank you so much, John. Praying for you as well. Dire live in an hour, which means 2 or 3. Awesome. Uh, uh, Plan B equals we send Frank Hassel to DC. I like that idea. All right, back to the articles. Let's take this down. Yeah, so basically, um, they're saying they won't accept any more, and this is their way of sort of trying to calm the people. Don't worry, we're not accepting anymore. Yeah, you already have multiple hotels filled to the brim with these people, and you're talking about spending tax dollars to buy them apartments. So it's nice to know how easy it is for our government to provide housing for people that need it, right? How interesting. That's incredible. Wow. It's incredible to know that they could just do that if they want. And I guess they just don't want to for you. You know, the actual citizens that they swore a oath to serve. You know, the people that actually pay their bills. Following Cheektowaga board meeting, questions remain about where the asylum seekers will go next. And this article, by the way, is from 2023. Right? So this is just, I'm sort of trying to figure out the timeline here. Somebody said, I don't have a problem of taking a stand on what is right for my residents, Benkowski said Tuesday. It doesn't matter what party you belong to, you have to be bipartisan. One facility at issue, a hotel on Digit Street, is set to be closed, with the migrants being transferred out to different facilities. On Saturday, Erie County said it had begun the process of moving asylum seekers from the Digit Street Hotel to a hotel in the town of Amherst. Now, this is not the one that they moved them to. They moved them from Dingens over to the airport, which I have another article to show you. So let's close this one. Let's pull up the next one. Okay, this is the one where it talks about how they brought them to my neck of the woods. New York State Supreme Court Justice has approved a settlement in the town of Cheektowaga's case against housing asylum seekers, and this is from October 12, 2023. The decision means that all migrants being housed at the Best Western on Dingeon Street in Cheektowaga must move to the Best Western near the Buffalo Niagara International Airport by Monday. All of this came to light after the town launched an investigation into whether 3 of the hotels housing hundreds of migrants were operating illegally as shelters and were in violation of the town's codes. Attorneys for the town said while migrants first came to Cheektowaga from New York City in early June, the situation became unmanageable with flooding at one of the hotels, fire code violations, and property damage at the others. Now, hopefully, I'll be able to share you guys some videos of news, reports. But you know why there's flooding? You know why there's fires? Because they're literally crammed in there like sardines. God only knows how many per room. And at one of the stories, they were hanging their clothes on the sprinkler system, and it freaking ripped they put so much weight on it, it ripped the sprinkler out of the ceiling and flooded the entire floor. They were cooking with hot plates in a crowded giant room full of garbage and bags and items and human bodies, and are they're using outdoor grills and things in. These people don't understand how things work in America. It's a completely different culture. They're living in shacks, you know, made up of freaking plywood and sheet metal or whatever, and now they're just in America, cooking on a Coleman grill inside of a freaking hotel. Just one more example of like the difference, right? The incompatibility, the different world they're coming from. And people need to understand that you're not bringing them here and making your town better. You're bringing them here and making your town like where they came from. And I feel bad for these people because they're being used. They think that they're coming for a better life, and really they're just being pampered so that they'll do what the establishment says, and as soon as they don't need them anymore, they will become the slave class. They will just have diluted our populations, and we'll become what's that called? Amalgamation, just a amorphous blob, the slave class, and that's it. And I would really like to see that not happen. And I think an important way that we can do a little bit, just do a small part to prevent that, is to remain aware, use your analytical mind, and share that this is going on. So in the settlement, hotel owners and .go also agreed to release the number of migrants staying at the hotels to the town and said that they would provide monthly updates. And that's the thing I told you, I couldn't find anything about that. So I guess let's hotel owners and .go. I'll save that for later and try to find more about that. All right, moving on. We have this one. This is from News 4 at 2023 August 8th. We don't need this here. Cheektowaga residents speak out about asylum seekers in community. There are more than 500 asylum seekers in Cheektowaga being housed at 3 different locations in the area, hotels. And that's another thing too, is like when you heard the guy, in that news article say they're being sent to facilities. No, they literally are buying out these hotels and these hotel owners, and the government's offering them a big sum of our money to house them. So they're incentivizing hotel owners to stop serving the public and the communities that they're in, but to instead house these people. And this should show you that this is not a crisis. This is not a natural disaster. This is not a hurricane that came in and they're dealing with it. This is a thing that the government is doing. This is a plan. This is a thing that they're working on, right? They could easily just tell the Border Patrol, do your jobs, close the border. Tell ICE agents, send them back when you catch them. This isn't, we're just trying to figure out how to solve this problem. No, you are the problem, right? This is an important thing that people need to understand. I think we have room in our hearts and our wallets to help asylum seekers. I just don't think we can be the only community. Yeah, thanks, Gary. No, thank you. Cheek the wall, and of course, that's the one that they put in their news article. And I guarantee you, they had to probably interview 150 people before they found a single person that said that. They're upset. The residents are upset and say their town leaders haven't done enough to address this crisis. The town board approved a resolution on Tuesday, which will kickstart an investigation into the hotels housing asylum seekers, whether or not they are legally operating. They are just literally just trying to shut people up, And this is exactly why I told Slowboy I'm not trying to reach the government, because this is what they do. When you get the ear of the government to listen to your problems, this is what they do. They slow walk you. They go, oh yeah, sure, we'll figure it out. We're gonna investigate. We're gonna see if they broke any violations, any town code zoning violations. They broke the law. They're here illegally, dude. I'm pretty sure that's a violation of some sort, right? Pretty sure you don't need any other laws on the books to deal with it. So it's kind of frustrating in that way. But so blah 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 blah. Let's just close this one down because there was this final one that I had a video I wanted to play, and hopefully I'll be able to play this without getting dinged. And before we do that, right? Yes, this is the one. Before we do that, I do just want to make clear that I think I covered this already, but the fact of the reality pilled thing is just like, this isn't meant to bum you out, but we need to take a real hard look at what's going on and actually take stock so that we can see if there's something that we can do about it. And I'm not sure what I can do about it beyond just speaking about it, beyond sharing the information out, beyond making posts on my social media to all of my friends and family members and people in the area and saying, look, this is going on. This is going on. It's worse than people realize. And, something has to be done about this. At the very least, you could vote, because I get that it's unpopular to actually think that Trump isn't just a complete liar for everything he says, but if you watch what he says, he is talking about this. He is making it very clear that it is an issue, and if he was controlled opposition, he wouldn't be doing that. If he was controlled opposition, he would be trying to divert our attention from the real issues onto things that don't matter, or onto things that have no chance of being solved. And yet, Trump has consistently, throughout his entire campaign from the start of 2016 all the way till now, addressed issues that deal with things that the establishment has spent millions of dollars and decades building. So that right there, I want that to be, I wish that could be, that I had a large enough voice to end the discussion there. Like, dude, they don't destroy their own tools when they're still using their tools. They don't humiliate themselves and make themselves lose credibility in front of the people who they're trying to control. They don't do that. You get what I'm saying? And I have yet to find a single person give me a response to that. Oh, yeah, he's controlled opposition. Okay, so why is he damaging the tools that they've built? Why is he damaging the mainstream media's, what do you call that? Uh, Believability. What's the word? Credibility, right? Why did he call them out when that's like one of the biggest tools they have for manipulation of the masses? Why is he talking about the deep state? That's something they're trying to keep under wraps. They've had the same MO for the last since Kennedy, to just call people conspiracy theorists, to not cover them, to shame them, and to falsely frame them as crazy. That works. That continued to work. You don't put somebody out there on the main stage and say, yeah, we got a deep state. We got all these people in the bureaucracies that are unelected, that slow walk policies that don't align with the agendas of whoever's paying their bills, and basically that you have people that are making decisions in this country that the American people have no say in, right? That's not a message that the deep state, the establishment, the people who are creating these agendas and rolling them out and ensuring that they happen, that is not something they want to see happen. They don't want to see half the country get pissed off about what they're doing, because there's always the wild card that they could actually do something about it. That's just a common sense thing. And hopefully, the people here who, have allowed themselves to think that way, just as I have many times before, can hear me and at least at the very least, like bring me a better argument or a point, a counterpoint, because it would really be nice. Everyone should just collectively stop paying Fed. Trump said something about the auditing the Federal Reserve, which would be nice, and actually getting rid of the income tax. He is talking about getting rid of tax on tips. He's been very good on Bitcoin. So again, not the kind of things that the establishment would do, right? He said there's not going to be any central bank digital currencies ever. Not the kind of thing the deep state would do, right? I think we all agree. Um, Nothing you do will stop what's coming. Only reactionary during and afterwards. And again, Black Party, you're a Christian, bro. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know if you've been listening to the stream I did last time. If you've listened to any of my arguments, any of my points of addressing why this sort of mentality does not serve you, dude. This sort of mentality is not a Christian way of viewing the world. There's nothing we can do. The enemy is just so powerful. They're going to take us. The enemy's pathetic losers, dude. You, of all people, know that. Okay? And I get why you feel that way, because it's the same way I felt that way. Because you are the one with the target on your back, and you are the one that the demoralization campaign has been directed at, right? So I feel you, brother. I get it. Like, it sucks. It's hard not to be affected by that. It's going to affect you. You're going to feel like that. But just like we learn in the church, get back up. Dust yourself off. Slap out of it. Stop being gay. And realize that even if that was true, it doesn't serve you at all. All it does is hurt the people that, it hurts the people who would want to stop it, that might actually be able to help something. And on my end, we're lagging a little bit. It's not saying the Wi-Fi is down, but my phone was glitching out, so I don't know what the deal was. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to skip up ahead to the current live chat. Let me know if we're glitching out, if the audio's bad, if something's happening, because on my end it looks really weird. Yeah, everything's going super slow on my end. This sucks. Let me stop sharing the screen. Maybe that'll help. I live upstate New York, about 400 miles due east of you. Nice. It's worse than most people are willing to realize. It really is. Sitting here silently, nodding vigorously in agreement to everything you say. This was all planned long ago, I agree. Not to be blackpilling, but I live in a solid red state. Republican governors, senators, and House representatives, they brought 6,000 Afghanistan immigrants and lodged them on a military base until they could get them on food stamps and Medicaid and find them apartments. It has nothing to do with voting for Republican or Democrat. They are both doing it. I know. That's what Trump has been saying. That's literally his whole point, right? That's why people support Trump, because he's calling out neocons, he's calling out the establishment, he's calling out the actual issues, and he's trying to encourage people to do better. Right now we have a government which is completely in control of by the establishment, right? By whatever word you want to call them. The mafia, the criminal mafia. I don't think at any point in time I've ever said that the Republicans were going to help us, that the Republicans were going to save us, that the Republicans are on our side. They're not. It's like me and Mono were talking about yesterday. They're worse. They're worse than the Democrats. That left-right. Okay. They're worse than the Democrats, because the Democrats at least tell you that they want to cut your kids' genitals off, and the Republicans tell you they don't, but 5 years later they do. So, I'm right there with you. But when you take this knowledge that we have, we know that's true, right? And then you extend that to, so don't vote. You're not helping you're not helping the situation. You're not helping yourself. Voting can have a difference. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about, are they sincere or are they not? Do they actually want to do what's right, or do they not? Do they actually want to serve the people that they're trying to get elected to lead and to serve, or do they not? And there are people that actually care about the right thing to do. There are people who are 83 years old and are soon to die and are sad at the state of the country and are willing to put their effort and their energy and their skin in the game to do what's right. And I know that's hard to believe. I know that we've been literally trained like dogs from a young age, whether in school or through the media or even through the conspiracy culture, which has had so many little controlled narratives and controlled opposition sprinkled in, and just in general, the things they do to try to make you feel like it's hopeless. It's not hopeless. God's in control. You're a free human being. You can make a difference in your local level. That ripples out into your community. That ripples out onto your homeland. That's the way the world works. And so the whole point of these streams is to try to especially reach people who keep sharing these sort of black pill doom. And I know you said not to be black pilling. I get it. And you're just sharing your thoughts. And I'm super happy that you do because it gives me stuff to talk about. And again, I could be wrong. You could be right. But this is just the way I see it, and it's frustrating because it's like this is how they want you to think. They want you to think that there's no hope, that it's pointless, that the system is completely corrupt to the core. The president realizes that, talks about that, campaigns on that, and has been pretty clear about what his hopes are, what his goals will be for his administration if he wins, what the main 20 promises that he made, to the American people. These are the things that we're going to be directly addressing with our campaign, with our administration, and with the people that we endorse. Whether he does all of it, whether he does some of it, whether he only does a little bit of it, whether he just doesn't go full bore, full steam ahead towards the edge of the cliff, that's better. That's better for my grandmother who lives, a mile away from the migrant housing facility, who might get some new neighbors soon, so to speak. It's better for the neighbors' children who don't deserve to live in a country that has been just burned to the ground because the people have been so beaten over the head with a stick and beaten into submission that they just can't be bothered to care or to even try. Like, they don't deserve that, and we need to be better. We need to stop being so hopeless and so black-pilled and so, oh, whatever, there's no point. Like, I get it, we're Christians, and you should be focused on Christ first. That's like the prerequisite to everything I'm telling you guys now. I felt like I needed to explain it to Mono a little bit. Like, I'm not, like, it might be weird for somebody just showing up to the channel now and hearing me say this, but you're Orthodox Christian. My entire channel has been about Orthodox Christianity and how that's the most important thing in life and how that's the most important thing we need to focus on and how there isn't any political solutions to the problems of evil in this world. All of that stuff is the prerequisite to what I'm saying. That's why I'm making this video now, to explain to you guys. That doesn't mean that we just ignore the basic maintenance of our country and that we just ignore like serious problems and house fires when they're raging in your house. Like, you put it out. Or you get the heck out of there. You do anything but sit there and do nothing. Like, that's the one thing you don't do, Anyways, I think, let me look and see if there's any other articles I could pull up if I wanted to figure it out. And like I was saying about the whole demonstration thing, like, it's a thought that I'm having. It's something that I'm thinking about, I'm considering doing. And really not for the point of the I've been a part of enough protests and demonstrations and activism in my earlier life, in my leftist years. I really have no interest in doing that. I have no interest in being a part of that. I've seen them go well. I've seen them go wrong. I know the ways that they go right and wrong, which is why really the thing was for the optics to make a video where I can sort of collate all of the information and all of the data into one shareable chunk of content to then spread around with the message of, please do this in your own neighborhood. Please find these places and, report on the numbers, figure out, how many people there are so that we can sort of get an idea of, like, how bad is it, right? Republicans are Democrat light, like Budweiser light. Only difference, some of them have better tailors. Agreed. Mela, peace and ciao, Mela. Pray for me, y'all. Catch you later. Yeah. So that's basically the whole point I'm trying to make. Just board my plane, flying back to U.S. of A. Nice. It surprises me even how much they have gotten away with already, as in getting away with murder, literally, right? Yeah, I mean, they've gotten away with quite a lot. You can't run to the woods and live off grid. I live in the country, I have great neighbors, and can convert to a homestead life rather easily, but they will eventually come into your neck of the woods. Yeah, I mean, the entire country is gridded out. It's, there's nowhere to hide, you know. We don't have the Amazon rainforest in America. You're not hiding anywhere. And unfortunately, if we live in rural areas, it sort of lulls us into a false sense of security, and you feel insulated. You are insulated to some degree, but then again, no, you're not. I mean, literally, I was just reading a news story the other day about gangs of Venezuelan migrants that were going into the rural communities, and they were home invasion gangs. They were literally so well, uh, not armed, but like well equipped with like machinery and devices and technology. They could remove wall safes and extract them from the house. I mean, they were like really like well equipped, well trained. Like I think it was Venezuela. I'm pretty sure that was the country, but basically like well trained, robbery gangs. And they're going specifically to the rural areas because there's more wood cover, there's more, different routes you can leave without being tracked and stuff. So there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide, and if you don't think they're going to be moving them out into those areas as well, they will. And so let's, be adults, keep our eyes open, actually pay attention to what's going on, and drop that freaking ballot in the damn box so that in case it does make a difference, you do. Otherwise, honestly, I mean, it's just like we deserve what happens to us. And God help us. I just don't want to see that happen. I really could care less about me. Yeah, I deserve it, but I care about my grandmother. I care about my family. I care about the children. We all should. And at the very least, if you're going to be the kind of person that says, well, you don't care, well, then at least acknowledge that fact that, like, that's not virtuous. That's not a good way to be. That's a bad way to be. Like, let's not be like that. Better make some extra cream puffs, dude. Oh, I want to make some cream puffs now. All right, guys, that's everything I had for today. Just wanted to really come on, talk about it, talk about the concept here of not being black-pilled too much. Hope, faith, honesty, duty, right? Important values to keep in mind, and that the choices we make are going to make a difference on where this country goes. You are not completely disenfranchised yet. You are not completely subservient slave people yet. You still, under uh, the pretense of our government, you still are supposed to be the ones who have a say in what happens. You still can go from being a poor kid who grew up in the hood, do well in school, get to Yale, become a frickin' senator, whatever the hell. You can have an impact. You can make your own choices in your life, and with cooperating with God and doing the right thing and not compromising on your morals. Even if it's not political, you can have an impact. And politics is just one more arena of life, and it's not completely hopeless. And if you think it's completely hopeless, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe go pray about it. Maybe stop saying that. Go pray about it. Go focus on something else and reevaluate. Or just bring me a good argument, and then maybe I'll change my mind. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please, if you can, like and share. And thank you to everybody that super chat supports, comments, all that stuff. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Go to liturgy. May God bless you. And until next time, Lil Ewok signing off. Peace out.